Hello.
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 Welcome, everybody.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 5 of the Argent Airways podcast. Joining me today is the usual gang. We have Ela.
Hey, it's Ela Lightris, your new up-and-coming Sindori singer.
We have Granny Viv.
Yes, 'tis I, Granny Viv, also known as Vivian Skybreaker, and Vivian has a sloth called Nap.
We also have a very unwell Xuyagu here, but he's here in spirit. And he can't say hello at the moment because unfortunately he's lost his voice. But we also have a local celebrity, I believe. Joining us today, we have Saelora.
Hi, I'm a member of the TRP dev team, and I play Ellie, who is, despite being well-travelled, has never visited Culturas.
Oh, blasphemy. Okay.
Last but not least, we have Grashka Redcleaver.
Oh, yeah. Hello. Yes, I am back, having been ill myself. I am now back, and as you can now hear, I am very much alive and happy again.
Yes. We're happy to have you back, Grashka.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be back.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, what's today's topic of discussion, Ella?
Alright, so the topic of discussion is going to be an interesting one. So, most of us here are Hordes, and this doesn't happen too much on Horde. But the topic of discussion is following the laws of the land and criminal RP. And it follows up with, have you ever encountered or you yourself committed any criminal RP, and how did it go?
Oh, this is interesting. Okay, then. I can't imagine Vivian, the innocent Forsaken that she is, committing any crimes.
Well, Vivian, no. But my other RP character, Red Shinkicker, was in fact a urchin in Stormwind City and has picked many pockets. Yeah, and that was actually quite nerve-wracking because, Stormwind, people tend to overreact to such things. We would approach people and send them a whisper, asking them if they were okay with this and if our characters would find anything of value on their person. Sometimes they would reply with, yeah, that's fine, you go ahead, try pickpocketing her. And Red would confidently walk over towards a mage, start pickpocketing them, and suddenly get a fireball smashed in the face. That's
that I've seen that so many times in Stormwind.
Slight overreaction.
I for a while played. It was a period of about 3 months before I killed the character off. The most inept pickpocket thief rogue you have ever seen. Every time I had her do something, I rolled a d20. And on anything below a 15, she would fail in some humorous way. On a 20, she would fail in a humorous way that would accidentally result in a success.
Okay, interesting way of doing it.
She'd pull her crossbow, fire it, and it would ricochet off a nail and 2 other things to hit her target. That sort of ridiculous, completely inept but lucky. She was brilliant fun to play, and I was very disappointed a couple of weeks after killing her off that I couldn't play her anymore.
It's funny what you miss when it's gone, isn't it? My orc, being an orc, hasn't committed crimes, at least not recently anyway. But I have an RP character around Stormwind, a rather grumpy former soldier, Worgen, or Gilnain, whichever, who took umbrage against one of Stormwind's many nobles. And of course, the guards ruled in favour of the noble and not the person that was, in the victim of whatever the crime was. I can't really remember it. It was quite a while ago. But my Worgen didn't like this very much, so he strode right up to the guardhouse yelled something very unrecordable, and threw a bag of fox poop through the doorway.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and to say there was an overreaction is an understatement. My God. I mean,
And my question is, where did you get a bag full of fox poop?
From the the little farm area in the top right corner of Stormwind.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, in there. You know where the embassy is.
There's a lot of foxes there.
Yeah, a lot of foxes there. Yeah, definitely didn't make that up for the purpose of RP.
I'm glad none of you have touched in on an area because I've got quite a long story for this one.
Mm-hmm.
I've dabbled in the good old Duskwood RP,
Yes.
and that is the core zone for criminal RP, absolute core. And I have quite a long story. I have an alt character named Rose who I managed to get in with her in an investigation. I discovered about this investigation talking to a few people in Duskwood, and she was allowed to join in on the hunt, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
We were trying to find this person who had attacked another character, and we basically had to go around each night, basically just look around for the character. And I ended up actually finding the character, not before a Pandaren then snuck up behind me and attempted to kill my character before I could get to the person we were trying to get to.
Wow.
So that's Duskwood for you. You're doing something, and then suddenly someone's doing something to you.
It seems to be quite funny, doesn't it? Because Stormwind full of nobles, Duskwood full of criminals.
Yes.
You know? the complete polar opposite, you know.
I mean, are they the polar opposite?
Yeah, it's
like,
what's that, Saelora?
The amount of the amount of criminals who I see who are secretly lords.
Oh yeah,
Crimbleton, the most important, the fourth, but also slumming it in Old Town is.
Oh yeah, the stereotypical debonair gentleman thief, right?
No, they're definitely thugs, but for some reason they're also very important lords. I've seen it more than you'd expect to have seen it.
Criminal RP though is an interesting topic in of itself because as we've all witnessed by now, I'm sure we've always seen some kind of shady character around Old Town, Duskwood, or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Some obviously, make it obvious. Other people don't, of course. And what I find it incredibly funny though is the thought of having to whisper someone asking for permission to thief from someone.
But it was important to us urchins to do that because
it's just a thought of it though.
Stormwind has so much RP, or it used to have at least. I don't know how it's now. Where every time you rounded a corner, you'd get mugged, and we just wanted to make sure not to overstep any boundaries.
Yeah, I understand your reasons behind it. It's just the thought of having to whisper someone, "Excuse me, sir, can I steal your wallet?"
That brings up something of why I'm joining us today. There is, in fact, on the miscellaneous tab of TRP now a drop down for whether you let people commit crimes to you.
Yeah.
I noticed that. Yeah.
It's been there for a couple of years now, but I think a lot of people miss it.
Well then, I've definitely missed that because I didn't notice that before. But thank you for noticing.
Where can I find that?
If on your own profile on the miscellaneous tabs, there is the roleplay styled section down the bottom, and so you can select a couple of different like injuries, death, romance, crimes, mind control. And then, so you can just select like whether you accept it, whether you want people to whisper you to ask you first, or whether you just blank refuse it, or you can just hide the field, which is the default. And then if you look at other people's profiles when you're looking through them, you can see on their miscellaneous tabs anything that they've selected to show will show up down there.
Oh,
I have
well then.
found it, and I'm going to be exploring it more thoroughly later.
Should we be worried about that, Vivian? Or
Oh,
Maybe. Guys, about the topic, why do you think, apart from the fact that we have way fewer Hordes than Alliance, why do you think there is so much less criminal RP on Horde side?
Personally, I think it's because of different ideals. Because you don't really see like a Tauren or a troll being a thief, or at least not being open about it. But it's more commonly associated with goblins.
yeah. Horde is less organized, I think, because Alliance and stuff, they've got the higher kingdom, you've got like Stormwind stuff, and then you've got the lower areas, so it's kind of always got that noble to crime balance. Whilst in Horde, there just isn't that. It's just all Horde.
All Horde, all equal.
I have been going to Undermine a lot lately, but Vivian is very gullible and kind and blind to all things negative. So she's always happy. And as such, I sometimes get stuck in Vivian's happy bubble and don't notice the world around her very much. So I don't really know if there's a lot of criminal RP going on in Undermine. I mean, there should be, law-wise, right? I mean,
there should be.
And everything.
I think another reason you see more on the Alliance and the Horde is a lot of the fun of criminal RP comes from the byplay with the guards.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's much easier to find on the Alliance, as well as generally a lot of like the best criminal RP I've interacted with has very much been where a guard guild and a criminal guild actually are basically the same guild, even if they're split into two separate guilds, to actually have that byplay between each other. I've seen it pop up a couple of times, last for a couple of months, and result in some of the best roleplay.
Yeah,
I guess that kind of comes into the fact that in Orgrimmar especially, everyone's a guard. I think every Horde player at least has a weapon on them, whilst in Alliance, sometimes people go around with no weapon at all.
Well, surely not in Stormwind.
Oh no, of course not. Oh no, not Noble Stormwind.
Of the three characters I play vaguely regularly, only one of them regularly carries a weapon.
Yeah. Well, it's on Horde, everyone's carrying an axe or something. Everyone's got a weapon on them.
I remember when I started RPing with the Alliance on my orc, Redcleaver. And she was talking to a human, or a group of humans, and one of them said, "Why do you carry an axe around with you?" And of course, Grash being a war song, she has her own howling axe, which is important to her. It's her father's axe, and it's a symbol of her ancestry. And the human said, "We don't carry weapons around our city." And Grash just looked a little like, "You're kidding me, right?" What?
That's a perfect example, yeah.
Culture shock.
It was a culture shock because she couldn't quite understand why humans were not always prepared, to defend themselves, or or not carry a weapon around with them in general. But as Saelora just said, that's a good, interesting point. To actually RP criminals, it's more fun if there's an element of risk involved in it. Like, if you want to get caught by a guard or whatever, but it's a good way of doing it is having like a mutual agreement between the guard guild in question and the criminal guild, right? But unfortunately, though, that's not always the case, though, is it? Because there have been cases of, free to say, abuse of power.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah, which can lead to some very awkward situations, which is unfortunate, really. But, yeah.
I think the best thing that comes out from a byplay like that is it makes, as a criminal, getting caught by the guards becomes fun because you're playing together to roleplay together and role-playing out the getting caught. Whereas a lot of times you see where the criminals and the guards aren't collaborating, the guards will arrest you, lock you in a room, and walk away. And it's like,
Mhm.
well, okay, I'm just going to go and make some tea because there's nothing for me to do now.
I've also
Back in
seen
the old
guilds like
urchin days.
oh yeah, these what was the Stormwind Urchins or wasn't? What was it called?
Yeah, the gutter runners.
That's
We
the one,
used to
yeah.
have this sort of thing going with the City Watch. And the City Watch was based on Terry Pratchett's City Watch. So yes, they were technically gods, but they also had a huge sense of humor. So we would often get caught on purpose just to see what they would do. And sometimes we would actually be able to get away from them, and we would communicate this in whispers.
See, that's where it's fun.
Mhm.
That's where it's fun.
Yeah, and whenever we would get caught, we would ask them not to leave the urchins to their own devices, but see if they could catch one or two more urchins and lock them up, so that we would at least have company, you know.
Yeah.
And to come and see us now and then, to I don't know, bring us some dried bread and stale water, that sort of thing, or come and interrogate one of us. That sort of...
A good suggestion I've been given, and sorry I don't remember this player's name, but I was whispered it once when I was role-playing around Duskwood, is if two criminals come across each other and they both want opposite things to happen, they're not agreeing, a good way to solve it is just to ask each other to roll. And then whoever gets the highest roll decides what happens.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Yeah, providing that there's some kind of communication and some kind of agreement on both sides of it, then that ends up being a fun experience for everyone involved. However, I've unfortunately seen one example where pepper spray was used to subdue someone. I'm pretty sure pepper spray doesn't exist in WoW. You know,
the WoW equivalent of pepper spray.
Yeah,
I mean, I could make pepper spray with, well, cave level technology. All you need is some peppercorns, and you just grind them up, mix them with a liquid, and you've got pepper spray. It's
really?
so
You heard it here first, people.
Saelora's.
For legal reasons, I have not done that.
Yes, for any police that may be watching, this is not something we condone or have done.
Also,
I'm not
that
trying
is
to give
very
anyone any
ineffective
ideas.
pepper spray. It just would work. Not very effectively, but it would work.
It's always the elves, isn't it? It's always the elves that are the problem, isn't it?
I was thinking something like ember flower spray or something.
I have noticed though that sometimes in criminal RP, people do like the worst stuff, not only mugging but even worse, and they refuse to face the consequences.
Yeah, that's another issue. Yeah,
I think a big part of that comes back to them not collaborating, because if you do face the consequences for it, if it's not by a guild you're playing with, then the consequences usually are you can't play anymore. And like, where's the fun in that?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, where's the fun in that?
You should think of those things before you start doing hideous RP crimes.
And that as well.
You know that you might not be able to log into your character for a day.
And it also begs the question that if no one is going to accept the consequences of their actions, why are they? Yes, as you said before, Vivian, why they're doing what they're doing, and why they're bringing. Like, for instance, I've seen warlocks wandering around with demons beside them in Stormwind and in Orgrimmar as well. It isn't just Stormwind. And in Orgrimmar specifically, where warlocks are very much frowned upon, even now, law-wise, they would have been killed on the spot if they were spotted by anyone. Never mind the guards. But,
I think.
Yeah.
I think there is some grey area there, especially if things about like openly having demons summoned and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, a lot of allowances are made by the game for gameplay, so you can have your demons out in the city fine. And so it's like that's sort of then gone from the gameplay into the lore in a sense, and so people are expecting a lot more acceptance of demons than maybe other people expect there to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I think it's like communicating that.
Yes.
Other players going up to them and like in characterly saying like, hey, you shouldn't have your demon out, or maybe being a bit more like, if your character doesn't like the demon, obviously being a bit more aggressive, but then telling them in whispers, maybe like, this is how characters should be reacting to that.
I mean,
like, try not to be so aggressive against it.
I mean, a polite response from an orc is a fist in the face.
True.
So,
Well, you don't want to know what Vivian's reaction would be to a demon. She would not be so polite if she sees it walking around the city.
no, it would be a punch in the face. It would be eviscerated.
Do music starts.
Like that one time in the Broken Isles.
Oh, yes.
My God.
Oh. Well, no, you guys, Vivian is sweet and innocent and wouldn't hurt a fly.
Yes.
Shall we, I think we're good on there. Shall we ask about TRP then?
Yes. We spoke about criminals, but let's now talk about TRP and TRP profiles.
I'm not sure there's much difference.
Well, you guys, as for the TRP section, TRP is, of course, an add-on that pretty much every role player uses. But for those two people who are new or have been hiding under a rock for the past couple of years, Saelora, could you tell us a bit what exactly is TRP and why should every role player have it?
So TRP is one of a collection. There are 4 out there, depending on how you classify it, of add-ons that all use the same or similar communications approach to allow you to create and share a profile of your character. Things like have a name that is not within the very strict limitations of World of Warcraft names that cannot have spaces, or something a bit more setting appropriate where only one person on a server can have a name. There can, however, be 40 people with the same Ellie name in their TRP profile. Yeah, I think I ran out of stuff to say there.
I have noticed that sometimes you can't see another person's TRP, and usually that has something to do with cross-RP. How do TRP and cross-RP work? I mean, you have to put them together.
So, as far as TRP is concerned, we have no idea. Like, we know the approaches that could be used, but Cross RP does all of the hard work there. I assume they use, I think back in the day for sure they used battle.net groups. And so what they were doing was just taking all of the stuff we'd normally send over private channels to other players and just dumping it all into the group that you were in that was set up to work for it. And then everybody in the group could then get the data out of the group and see your profile. I know the approach now is much more sophisticated, but I don't actually know the implementation details.
It sounds massively complicated.
I believe it says so in CrossRP as well. If you try to look up the CrossRP description in your favorite add-on downloader, it also says something akin to, we don't know how it works, but it works.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before it is actually possible to see with TRP other factions' profiles without cross RP, as long as you have a character on that faction. What you can do is log into that character, and then you've got the directory which which saves the profiles of all the people you've seen within the last, I think it's a month. I can't remember what the setting is on how it clears, but then when you log onto your Alliance character, it can still recognize that Horde character and still pull up their profile. You just won't get any updates.
Undoubtedly, my favourite part of TRP is TRP Extended. I absolutely love it.
It's all of our favourite part, even if we can't. We don't make nearly as many items as we plan to.
You've actually made my goblin very rich, because using TRP Extended, I made a candy maker.
So So back in the day, before I was a member of the team, TRP Extended was actually kickstarted because Talcastraz, the dev, had to take time off work in order to dedicate to developing it. And one of the Kickstarter bonuses was create an item that's permanently added to the directory for anybody who downloads the add-on. And I'm one of the people who kickstarted that tier, and I have not yet got around to making my item.
Oh, wow. But what kind of item would you make, though?
So for me, it would probably be something more technical. I had way back. This was way back in the day, but I had a tag game written in Griffin Hearts, which is an old add-on similar to TRP Extended, where you could like create and share your own items.
Yeah, I remember Griffin Heart.
Really buggy, crashed all the time. But
yes.
I loved doing it, and it was really insecure. We've got a lot of security stuff in Extended, because obviously you don't want to download an item that's going to get you banned because it makes your character say stuff which you are technically responsible for, as it's your character saying it. That's why there's all those security settings in Extended. But yes, anyway, so back to Griffinheart. So I made this tag game where basically it was like completely in character. Everybody would have an enchanted bracelet with 5 beads on it, and so the beads would light up as like your hit points. And then as you ran around, you used the item while targeting someone, and it would roll the dice for you and go, "Oh, you just clipped them," or "Oh, you didn't." And then I think I had like range built into it and stuff. So if you were too far away, it would go, "Oh, it flew and then petered out before reaching them." And so I would love to recreate that in Extended.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yes, but also a lot of work, and I have so many other things I need to work on first.
It sounds like very complicated coding, which brings me to the next question. WoW often updates. It brings us patches, it brings us expansions. How do you guys deal with that? Because you have to try to get TRP updated as quickly as you can to accommodate all of that.
Yes, for most patches, you obviously have the patch test realms. So we can do our development on the patch test realms. In the cases of expansions, Blizzard actually has a list of add-on authors who they prioritize for beta keys so that they can get into the new expansion and test and update their add-on features for the new expansion. So often we have the new version ready to go a week or two in advance of patch day.
Aha. Well, that's good. So it's not like whenever a patch comes out, you guys are all stressing and running around.
Sometimes things surprise us. Sometimes things surprise us, and we do have those moments.
I did wonder how on earth you guys managed to release your new version literally hours after the patch hit. So I was like, my God, these people are efficient.
Not only do we do that, but because we're all we're all EU based, means that the patch releases a day earlier in America, and so we have to get the new version out in time for them. So we are in fact releasing it a day before we get the new patch.
Okay.
Because we're all tested up on the PTR.
I noticed that, yeah.
A friend of mine keeps telling us in the guild server, whenever a new patch releases, do not update your add-ons. Wait for a day or two and then update your add-ons. Is that fact? Is that myth? Is that wise? Is that silly? What are your thoughts on that?
I'd say there is some wisdom in that. My suggestion would be, yes, wait a day or so, but if you have any problems with the add-on at all when you log in, go and update it. I tend to update all my add-ons immediately. I use a lot of add-ons. But part of that is I'm comfortable enough to go and fix the add-ons myself or downgrade them, and a lot of users obviously aren't. So if once you update, you're going to have problems and you're stuck with those problems, yeah, it makes sense to wait a day or two before updating. If you've got other people in your guild who are updating straight away, then let them be beta testers for you. And if they're having no problems, feel free to update.
Mhm.
And I mean, a lot of add-on devs are testing on the PTR and stuff. So if you know an add-on is generally stable on patch day, don't worry too much about waiting to update it, because often it's more likely that something's changed in WoW that we need to release a new version to work with than we've broken something in the new version.
Mhm.
I have a question. How did excuse me? How did TRP come to be? What was the thought process behind it?
Oh man, that is a 15, 20-year-old story.
Wow.
So TRP has been around since Wrath of the Lich King, I think. But the original version was created by Telkastraz, the original author, as a private add-on for his guilds. People in his guild obviously shared it with their friends, and it spread and became like a actual add-on. And then I think around Cataclysm, he decided it was horrible to maintain and started again from scratch with TRP2. That's where Ellipse comes in, the second owner of the add-on. After a while, Telkastraz left the game and handed over the add-on development to Ellipse, and she maintained it for a couple of years, which is also where I originally come in. I was browsing the forums one day, and Ellipse was posting on the forum some question, and I offered to help if they had any bugs they were struggling with, because at the time I was a junior developer, far too confident in my coding abilities. So I ended up working on a few bugs. I think if anybody was around back then, I think early Pandaria, they may remember when anybody in using MRP had a load of, if they looked at people using TRP, they had like a load of weird symbols in their name. And that was one of the first big dramas I remember discussing, because it was not a problem coming from TRP. It was because TRP was applying a load of text decoration, or allowing users to apply a load of text decorations. So like coloring your names, and that's where you got a lot of rainbow names and stuff like that. But MRP didn't want to let users just display arbitrary text decorations, which could theoretically be a problem, but I'm not really sure how any specific examples, but theoretically you could do things like insert huge icons into the chat. I think people may remember that happening occasionally as well. And so what they did was, rather than stripping out the text decorations, they just disabled them and left them in there. So it then looked like TRP was creating a bug where it was putting loads of text decorations into people's names, when in fact it was something that should have been stripped out by MRP, not something that TRP was doing wrong, air quotes. After that, we continued for a while. There was some issues with Pandaren as well when they first came out that I remember taking a look at. And then, so after a while, Telkastraz came back to the game and was like, I want to revisit TRP again. And so he started working on TRP3 with Ellipse, and eventually released the wonderful add-on we know and love today. That was, I want to say, Legion, just before Legion. I can't remember exactly, but yes. So then released TRP3, and then a couple of months later started working on Extended, which, as I mentioned before, was kickstarted so that he could dedicate some time off work to working on it, because it is really a huge add-on. And then, eventually Telkastraz left the game again. Ellipse left a while later. And Solania, the current main lead, took over. Meanwhile, I occasionally contribute some code, but not as much as I should.
So that's the main TRP, and obviously that's been around for quite a while now. And so there's been a lot of other add-ons that come off of TRP and use its code. And so some of the ones I use, for example, is something called Total RP Unit Frames. And this basically, what it seems to do is it changes the players, like on your UI, your HUD, it changes your out-of-character name into your TRP name, and it does it for other people's as well. So in the raid group, instead of showing people's out-of-character names, it's changing it to the people's TRP names.
Very useful there.
So, yeah, there's lots of add-ons like it. There's like RP names in quest text. How are these extra add-ons being produced? Like, do they conflict with TRP at all?
Not really, and like officially we don't support some of the things they do because they can cause problems with TRP, and then often people will go, my TRP is not working, and it's not in fact something we're doing, it's something someone else is doing down the line with their add-on. Also, we do have a module system where add-on developers can actually create and provide modules for TRP3. And some things we have also just developed in such a way that theoretically they just work. So, for example, if anybody uses WIM, WoW Instant Messenger, roleplay names should show up in that. And that's one thing that just works, because what we do is we take the regular chat text decoration code and we add in our own modifications to it, and then so if another add-on uses the same vanilla text decoration code, name decoration code, it will get the TRP name decorations. A good example of another add-on that just works out of the box like that is Listener, that we don't do very much to work with Listener, but we do. It does just work out of the box.
Listener is a lifesaver.
Oh, I was going to say, absolute lifesaver for people who make it up.
Yeah.
For people who can't focus very well. It's such a good add-on.
Yeah.
Not as good as TRP, of course, but
I'm really glad that TRP and Listener are doing well together.
Yeah,
somehow.
Like I said, they pretty much. I know that Listener has a bunch of code in there to support TRP, because in one of my other projects that I've been playing around with, I had to make it work with Listener nicely, and so I have dug through the Listener code, and there is quite a few things in there that do make it work nicer with TRP. Like I think the icons is something that Listener does itself. The little icons on the left, obviously your TRP profile can have an icon, but we don't actually inject them into chats, whereas Listener does into the Listener frame.
There's one more module which I found quite helpful. It's the RP scanner.
Yes.
The map scan.
Oh,
map
yes.
scan is so good. Sometimes I get hopelessly lost and I can't find an event, and then I just map scan. I'm like, aha, that's where they are.
That is actually a bit of a controversial feature. Some people do not like it. And you can prevent yourself from showing up on the map scanner in the options, because some people are concerned about being like stalked and stuff, which is a perfectly reasonable concern. But we leave it on by default, obviously, because it's something that typically people who are concerned with it can go into the settings and find the ability to turn it off. But also, you do just want people in character to show up on the map. And that's also our most commonly breaking feature, because
yes, I only had that issue once where I tried to switch it off for some reason. I didn't want somebody to find me, and then something went wrong, and I had to reinstall TRP entirely to get it back to work again. But that was already like 2 years ago, so you probably fixed it by now.
Probably, yes. If anybody ever does have any problems with TRP, there is a Discord link in the About page. Come find us on the Discord, ask questions. We will happily help you. Well, if you ask a particularly stupid question, we might trash talk you in the private channels, but we will happily help you while we're doing it.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of events, I believe it is now time for Vivian's calendar.
Oh, yes. Before we go there, one more question to Saelora.
Mm-hmm.
You have mentioned quite a few names of people who work on TRP.
Yeah.
Is there anyone we've forgotten?
Yes, there is currently the original 2 creators who I've already mentioned. There is currently a team of 4 working on the add-on. Myself, Solania, our product lead, community manager. We've got Meowraw, who is a developer, and I'm going to call him our mascot because our About page does. And then we've got Raynor, who joined quite recently in the past couple of months, less than a year ago, I think, who helps out and develops as well.
Xuyagu is here in text, and he also has one last question for you.
Sure.
It's about the TRP dev's personal preference
for
the length of glances.
This is in fact a topic that I was going to bring up, and I completely forgot to. This is something that we are thinking about in the future as well as currently. There is obviously many issues with lots of fields becoming way too long. It's a constant concern of people where people used to have hundreds of titles in their title. They used to have insanely long names. It's often even to the point that it broke the tooltip because there was just so much text in there. So we have started implementing trimming of a lot of those fields on the user sites. I believe glances we trim to 500 characters, I want to say. And so if you go like properly into the profile on the miscellaneous tab, you can see the full glance. But in the target frame, when you target someone, their glance will be trimmed to about, I think it's 500 characters or something. I can't remember the exact number. I did try to check before because I knew this question was coming and couldn't find the code that does the trimming, and so I couldn't see exactly. One of the problems with the system as it is currently is that you can't see where your fields are trimmed. So one of the features that we want to add eventually is like character counters on the fields that show you've got like 180 out of 200 characters that are showing or whatever. I think it might be 200 characters we're showing for glances, actually, not 500. And so we want, and eventually, like, we want to slowly introduce like the warnings that the fields are getting a bit long, and then maybe even harder limits on how long the fields are, because it's causing a lot of problems in like communication times. A lot of people may remember a couple of months ago add-on profiles just not loading, and part of that was because Blizzard introduced some temporary throttling where add-on communications were only allowed to send one message every couple of seconds, and I think it was supposed to be just inside instances, but it affected everyone everywhere.
Oh, that was horrible. I thought all of my add-ons were just dying and broken. I was like, this is the end of RP as we know it.
It's the end of the world.
And so we were very stressed out about that, and we had similar discussions in TRP. And so that really brought our discussions of how long a profiles are we sending to the forefront, and like different ways to like optimize the process a bit more where we can. And so we've got a lot of ideas, and we've not actually settled on anything specific, especially as Blizzard quite quickly fixed their stuff and it started working again. Although we did, those of you who were playing on the beginning of this month may have noticed that this month being April, that all the profiles had long loading tickers to call back to that event. As we made the loading tickers show up permanently for a couple of days over April Fools.
yes, in April Fools. Yeah, we noticed.
We like to, with our April Fools, try to have something that people will see and appreciate that doesn't actually affect the use of the add-on.
I actually wondered whether I did something wrong with that. So it's good to know it was only a joke.
Yes.
Xuyagu also asks in the chat here, any fun things you can do with your TRP profile that other people may not know about?
We try and keep features as visible and clear to people as possible. We want people to use the features that are there. A couple of things that I think people might not necessarily immediately know about is the icons on the tooltips, where there is an icon that shows whether somebody is set walk-up friendly in their status on the main page. There is an icon that shows if they have updated their profile since you last looked at it, so you know to go and check. That's a little book with an asterisk on it. And then if you go into the profile, that will also show on the About tab if they've updated their About tab or whatever.
That's what that means.
Yes.
I've seen that, and I've always wondered what is that?
Yes.
And now you know.
The other feature that I think that I really like, that I think a lot of people don't know about, is if you start an emote with an apostrophe, it will collapse the space after your name so you can write a possessive emote. So if you write /e space apostrophe s's hat is crooked, it will collapse the space so the emote will read like nicely like Ellie's hat is crooked. And that was in fact one of the first things I did, first pieces of code I contributed to TRP3.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Very cool. I like little details like that. Yeah.
I know, right? I love those little details.
There are some other clever things you can do with the chat. For example, I think most people know that if you put a pipe in as the vertical line as your first letter, and then a space, it will hide your name. But another thing that if you do after that, if you put a name and then says and a colon and then a space, it will format it like an NPC speech. So you can do NPC speeches without the pop-up box in that way. And I honestly, I forget that. Yeah, I often forget there's a button for that because I just type them all out myself.
Yeah, usually I do that too, but there is a button for it. The little picture on the icon is an elf screaming at you. So if you want to make your NPC say something, you can just click on that.
Okay, and I will finish with one funny anecdote. For a while, TRP Extended was playing its sounds to anybody in the same instance as you. So a lot of people on their raid nights would trigger TRP Extended sounds, and other people in different raids could hear the sound, and we had to, in instances, check if people are in the same group as you before playing their sounds.
Oh, you know what? I remember that happening, because I remember being in a dungeon group and suddenly hearing an alt fart sound going completely out of the blue.
Yes.
My God. The group's wiped because of that.
That's not the first time you've wiped to an orc's fart sound. But that is a different story, you guys.
Different story, different game, yeah.
Yes.
But if people want to know that story, but then let us know in the comment section below. I'll be happy to say. Share the
Oh,
details, you know.
No.
Yes.
Quick, let me set a reminder in a couple of days to go and do that.
Oh no.
Yeah, I hope we have covered everything now for the TRP section of this episode. Are there any famous last words you want to add before we move on to the calendar?
Again, we have a Discord link in the About page of the add-on. Feel free to come and join us in the Discord, ask any other questions you have, discuss the add-on, or just say something silly in our off-topic channel. Everybody is welcome, and we fully encourage people to come and join our Discord to get any support they need.
Thank you very much, Saelora. This has been a very enlightening interview.
Absolutely has been.
You did really well.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that was great. And now I guess we can move on to Vivian's calendar. But I don't. Yeah, well, I mean, it is Vivian's calendar, but it's not really mine because my sources are the argentarchives.org, the ADEU RP server, and the forums, which usually Ella Fraser takes a look at for me.
Yes, you mentioned
So,
you forgot.
yeah, basically all I do is put it all in one row and click on every link to see what's behind them.
That reminds me, one thing that she will never forgive me if I forget to mention is that Ella Fraser is my best friend in real life.
Oh, really?
She is awesome.
Hang on, you get this quiet, Ella.
I think she mentions it quite a lot, actually.
Well, shout out to Ella then. Hi, Ella. All right, so back to the calendar. The calendar runs from Thursday the 1st to Thursday the 8th of May. And this is because we record on the 30th, so we assume that you hear this the next day or somewhere near the next day. That's why we always pick the next day. Remember, everybody, extra events get added in last minute sometimes. So it's a good idea to check the above-mentioned sources, the AA.org, argentarchives.org. I think AA.org is a completely different website. The ADEU RP server and the forums. Do check them out if you're not sure what to do, in case of any last-minute added events. Moving swiftly onwards to Thursday the 1st of May, the Gilneas denizens are back with an event called The Burned Archives. It is an auction for the rarest and most forbidden tomes ever written, and I am not talking about the steamy romance novels here. It is located in the Undertaker's Pass in Gilneas from 8 p.m. onwards. It is a neutral event, even though it's in Gilneas. Yes, you there, Torrin, and you there, Forsaken. You are also welcome there. Our Vulpyran friends are also running the Moonlit Bar at the same night on Thursday. You can find them in Boulder Springs, which is of course located in Kazalgar from 8 p.m. onwards. It is a neutral bar. You're all welcome. The Scarlet Raven Witch Hour promises those who come dressed for the theme a free surprise drink, but I think they forgot to update their Argent Archives page, because I don't know what the theme for May is. They would, however, like you to know that they are hosting a Children's Week raffle this Thursday. Come and check them out in Darkshire, Duskwood from 10 p.m. onwards. Alliance only. Little Pandaria can be found in the Broken Keel Tavern in Ratchet this Thursday from 8 p.m. onwards. It is neutral. Our goblin friends are gobbing around again at the Diamond Lounge in Hovel Hill Undermine from 8 p.m. onwards. If you can't find them, then make sure you are a part of the Undermine in-game community to ask for an invite to the RP Shard. The link to the Undermine Discord should be in the description below. There is a new bar opening this Thursday. It is called the Falcon's Nest, and you can find them on Falcon Wing Square, Everson Woods, from 8 p.m. onwards, ward only. On Friday, the 2nd of May, we're moving on to the next day, the Shady Brawl Night is back, so go and kick some butt in Stormwind from 8 p.m. onwards in the Shady Lady, Alliance only. Also, 2 bars will be open. There is the Groggery in Pinky's Groggery Borealis, 8 p.m. onwards, Alliance only. And Little Pandaria is back again in the Golden Keg in Stormwind from 8 p.m. onwards. These are Alliance bars. Moving on to Saturday the 3rd of May. Bill Tan is going live in Amir Drasil this Saturday. It is a night elven festival of love, life and fertility. You can expect an open stage, a play, a costume contest and more. Check out their post in the forums. You can find them in Whirlwind Basing Amir Drasil from 1930 onwards, that is 7:30 onwards. The dress code are spring colors, green, pink and pastels. The dress code, however, is not mandatory. Alliance only. But there's something for you Hordies as well. Haiku welcomes you back to the Fireside Gathering. It is a time for the Horde to come together for a drink, a snack, and the occasional game or contest. Meet up in the Valley of Wisdom Orgrimmar from 8 p.m. onwards, Horde only. The Tasty Grooves Cavern, formerly the Tasty Games Tavern, will open their doors again in Shatrat City this Saturday. They have shifted their focus from games to music. So come and listen to that, have a good meal, have some drinks, enjoy some good company. And they are using both Watch Together and Musician. You can find them in World's End Tavern, Shatras City, Outland from 8 p.m. onwards, neutral. Get ready to roll back home on Saturday if you live in Stormwind, because the Shady Lady is hosting a drink-off and a cocktail-making event, so lots of booze chugging and experimenting with liquors will be taking place. They will open their doors at 9 p.m. in the Shady Lady in Stormwind City, Alliance only of course. The Diamond Lounge should be open again on Saturday. Come and visit the Gobbo friends. Oh, I love it down there. You can find them from 8 p.m. onwards. It's neutral, everybody's welcome, but like I said before, if you can't find anyone there, join their Discord server, join their in-game community, ask for an invite to the RP Shard. Since the Dove have moved out from the Blue Recluse, it's been lovingly adopted by Bobby Valentino and his friends. This Saturday it's Singles Night. From what I could gather from their Argent Archives page, you will get pelted with interesting questions and topics to talk about. And for all who join, you will receive colored bands to show what you're looking for. There will also be live music, probably through the Addon musician, not confirmed. Please check on their argentarchives.org page for information about the colored bands or find out as you go. Singles Night, the Blue Recluse, Mage Quarter Stormwind from 8 p.m. onwards, Alliance only. Sunday, the 4th of May, and I don't want to hear any Star Wars jokes. There is the gathering at the Crossroads, as always, except when there's a market, but there isn't. So head on over to the Crossroads, meet your fellow Hordies from 8 p.m. onwards. Of course, Horde only. The Dove is hosting a Children's Week charity event when did I say? Saturday, yes. No, Sunday. Sorry, let me start again. The Dove is hosting a Children's Week charity event this Sunday. Donation for the orphanage can be brought in all week in various inns across Azeroth, and on Sunday the 4th, the Dove will bring all of these to its location in Cathedral Square. The market will be there as well for once, and you can also look forward to the performance from AKA. So head on over to Cathedral Square from 8 p.m. onwards, Alliance only, and enjoy the festivities. The Storm Maidens Inn should be open as well in Kiel Harbor, Alliance only, in Gilneas, 8 p.m. Monday, the 5th of May. The Doonchester Mobile Tavern travels around these days because they're Vampira, and this month they will be in Undermine. I know they were there last month as well, but they are really enjoying themselves down there, so come and have a look. However, they want you guys to know that this Monday, the 5th, they will be at the Pokisha, which is a Horde event. It is a gathering of trolls to commemorate and celebrate the memory of their deceased kin. You can find them and the Doonchester in Senjin Village from 8 p.m. onwards, and non-trolls are welcome too, of course, if they're Horde-aligned races. Tuesday is Market Day, both in Duskwood and in Jade Forest, Pandaria. In Duskwood, of course, is Alliance only, and in Pandaria, it's neutral. Both markets will be open from 8 p.m. onwards, so come and get your shopping done. It is not confirmed yet, but very likely that the Diamond Lounge will be open as well on Tuesday in Undermine. So if markets aren't your thing, come and check them out from 8 p.m. onwards. Wednesday, the 7th of May. The Tishamat is back, and we will mention them in the shoutouts later as well. But for now, let me tell you what I could find. The Tishamat is back. It's a Draenei-centered event with stalls, sermons, a tournament, and a crafting workshop. But other races of the Alliance are also welcome. The OOC location used is Elador in Draenor, and ideally it's in Azurmist Isles on Kalimdor. The festivities do not officially start on Wednesday yet, but there will be some festival preparation RP happening for Draenei only. If you are a Draenei, come over to Elador from 8 p.m. onwards. More info about the official opening on Thursday is coming up, but first. On most Wednesdays, the Curious Octopus will be open in Marinas Roboralis, where new RPers can come to learn RP and how add-ons work, like TRP. I mean, we can't do without it. So, newbies, get over there, learn how it works, you won't regret it. Experienced roleplayers are also welcome to help teach our little newbies. And when they are there, they should be open around 8 p.m, Alliance only. The Wandering Lamppost will be in Booty Bay this Wednesday, the 7th. So come and say hi to Kessigo. And by the way, Kessigo should be here in the next episode, if all goes well. You can find the Wandering Lamppost in Booty Bay on Wednesday, 8 p.m. And Booty Bay, everyone's welcome. The Storm Maidens Inn should be open again in Kiel Harbour Tavern, Gilneas, 8 p.m. onwards, Alliance only. Moving on to Thursday the 8th of May, which is the last day on this calendar. Like I said before, the Tishamat is live. And today is the big day where every one of the Alliance races are invited to join them in Elador for the festivities. Expect ceremonies, a market, a tournament, sermons, and a crafting workshop, and maybe more. This calendar only runs to Thursday the 8th, but be informed that the Tishamat will be there on Friday as well. Check out their post at the forums to see Friday's schedule. The OOC location is Elador Draenor. From 7:15 onwards, yes, you heard me, the opening ceremony starts 15 minutes before 8 p.m. Excuse me. The following bars are not confirmed yet, but I'm just going to assume they're around every Thursday, so here we go again. We have the Moonlit Bar in Boulder Springs, Kazalgar, 8 p.m. onwards, neutral, the Scarlet Raven Witch Hour, which I mentioned in the first Thursday as well. You can find them in Darkshire, Duskwood from 10 p.m. onwards, Alliance only. Little Pandaria, well, they're open on Thursdays in the Broken Keel Tavern in Ratchet from 8 p.m. onwards. And of course, our goblin friends in the Diamond Lounge, also 8 p.m. onwards. Pecunia. Oh no, that was last time. Yeah, sorry. I have a message here from Pecunia, but that was already 2 weeks ago when unfortunately I couldn't give you the calendar. But yeah, come and meet her anyway. She'll be waiting for you at the Diamond Lounge at 8 p.m. onwards in Hovel Hill Undermine. Join their server to find out how to get there. This is all I could scrounge up for everybody. This is the end of the calendar for this time. Thank you very much for listening.
I can add one more onto the end if you wish.
Yes,
Vivian?
go ahead. Go ahead. It's all yours.
On the 10th of May, Saturday the 10th of May, is the karaoke night for Rocking Rhythms.
Mm-hmm.
This is May hosted by TK. I believe out of character, it's going to be in what's it? The Shadowlands castle near
Revendreth. Yeah. Yes.
So be sure to come down over there. I can't remember where it is in character, but karaoke night, Rocking Rhythms.
Yes. We love the karaoke night. It uses Watch Together, by the way, so you don't have to worry about installing the add-on musician. You just go to the Watch Together website. You will be provided with a link, and you can hear the music, and you can just rock out all night. And I mean all night, because it usually continues till after midnight.
No, I think that's the end of the calendar.
Mm.
And a very good calendar it was, as always.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. Now,
And lots of thanks to the ADEURP server. Charmy is a lifesaver.
oh yes, shout out to the what's the
Charmy. Lily.
Charmy? Sorry, yes. See, I told you I'd butcher her name, didn't I, Saelora? I told you I would.
You did.
So sorry.
Well, that's your speciality.
It is, yeah. Fumbling my words is my speciality by now. You should know me by now.
Shall we quickly get onto the shout-outs?
Yes, yes.
There's
Let's go on to the shout-outs. Yes, we have a few of them at the moment. Who's starting then?
Shall I drop my one first? I'll try and get it by quite quickly since we have been going quite a while already.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
As mentioned in the calendar, there is the Draenei community are delighted to invite everyone in the Alliance to the Tishmat celebration, set place next week on the 8th of May, and through to the 9th of May. They are seeking for a Talbuk race and Draenei stallholders for the market. Please consider checking out their Argent Archives page for additional details. The forum thread will have sign-ups for the activities mentioned above. Additionally, there will be a prelude preparation event geared towards the Draenei characters on the 7th of May, the day before. If you would like any other information, please speak to Yin Lewis. It's a Draenei name, I'm not even going to try.
I'm not the only one then.
Yeah, I think you got it. Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
struggles with names.
Everyone struggles with names, yeah. But
All right. Yeah, I have two of them. One of them is for TK Studios, which I am also a part of. We are looking for some more shop assistants. So you don't have to worry about having to stand behind the shop every single week. Just come whenever suits you. What we ask of people is that they just sell clothes to people for an hour or maybe 2 hours if you're up for it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And the other shout out is for Daras. Daras has this event going on called the No Lodge Presents. It is every other week in the market in Pandaria. And Daras is always looking for interesting people who want to be a guest speaker. So if you're interested in that, contact Daras. If you don't know how to contact Daras or someone from TK Studios and you want to react to either of these shoutouts, feel free to give me a poke. You can find me in the Argent Airways server. The link is in the description below. And while you're there, come and get involved with us. We love to hear your input. We love to hear your reactions. And just become an official part of the team and let us know what you think, what you want, and what you'd like to hear.
Seamless plug, Vivian. We have a big shout out here that's split up into 3 parts. I should read the first one and then, yeah.
I can do the second.
You just, Ella does
I'll
second.
do the third one then.
Fantastic, yes. Teamwork, everyone. Fantastic.
Yes.
Right, this is a shout out from the legend that is Hamfist. For the next Argent Airways, a few shout outs if there's time to get round to it. Well, here we are now. The first shout out is to Yasmin. Hamfist is a love-hate character. Either it's love fist or it's hate fist. Every time Hamfist approaches Yasmin, even if it's the busiest of events she's a part of hosting, pardon me, it always feels like she makes Hamfist her number 1 priority. Oh, that's nice. So lots of love to you, Yasmin, and it's always a pleasure to be RPing with you. Oh, wholesome.
The second one goes out to the great Bertel Wobblespring. He says, thank you, Bertel, for always being on Hamfist's side, no matter what. No matter how many times you are sprayed with an ice gun, and no matter how many times bombs are thrown your way. In fact, no matter what Hamfist does, you always have his back. So he says, thank you.
And the third and last shout out from Hamfist is to Melinaris and Mortsy. Hamfist says, "Thank you for being part of the Wobblefista saga and helping me expand this weird and Hamfist level crazy story. Thank you for helping me put Lucy the Zombunny to rest. Hopefully now Vivian's nightmares will cease."
I'm sorry. Zombunny.
Yes.
That's the story.
Once upon a time, the gang was camping in the snow and a bunny happened to hop past. And Vivian and Darius were like, "Oh my gosh, bunny, so cute, fluffy." And Hamfist's first reaction was to shoot the damn thing. And then when Vivian, of course, was inconsolable, he decided with the help of his friends to raise it again into the void, basically, into some sort of void zombie bunny, and then gift it back to Vivian as a pet, which of course gave Vivian horrible nightmares, and Hamfist was basically attacked by half the Argent Airways server and forced to put the Zombunny down.
Well then.
Which was best for all, really.
Yes,
Yes.
so, yeah.
Yeah, and I would like to mention also that Hamfist defeated a bear the other day.
Oh, that makes up for it, does it? Okay, cool. So
But did he
rest
use
in
his bare
peace.
fist?
Rest in peace. Oh, very funny, Ella.
That wasn't me.
Sorry.
That was our guest.
Sorry, Saelora. It's very funny, yeah. So, shout out to Handfist and rest in peace, Lucy the Zombunny. Right. Speaking of funny stories, shall we move on to ours? I believe you have several this time.
Yeah, we have a whole bunch.
I only see 2.
I have another one hidden away somewhere, but it's very small. See, I was in Undermine the other day, and I happened to see in the distance 2 goblin RPers talking, and I was just passing them. I wasn't even like actively in their RP. I was just happened to walk their way, and one of them was saying something in the lines of, "I ain't getting in that car with you, not after what happened to that old lady last week." And the other one said something like, "Hey, it's not my fault. The seatbelts are ornamental. Everybody knows that."
What?
It was just such a typical goblin conversation. Those are the kind of conversations you find in Undermine these days.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's one character I want to shout out before I read a funny story. It's a gorilla who lived in Undermine called Mr. Peels.
Yeah, it's the Peels.
Yeah, who's a gorilla that's been fed Cajamite, which makes him smarter. He regularly sells cigars, smokes cigars, and drinks, and he's also an enforcer. So, if anyone sees him in Undermine, feel free to say hello to him. He is a friendly gorilla.
Give him a banana.
Yeah, give him a banana. He'll have you for it.
And not Cajamite.
Yeah, not Cajamite. He's had enough. And which brings me on to a second funny story. This one in particular happened during my latest event. I was DMing myself in Durotar with the Iron Wolf clan. Shout out to them. And this was at the beginning of the event where my character, Grashka, was giving everyone a briefing before they head out. And unfortunately, though, I meant to type one thing, but I typed something else entirely by accident. I meant to type harpies, bearing in mind. So the message reads, "I received a message from Razor Hill. The settlers there have been having trouble with herpes." I meant to type harpies.
I hope these weren't Vivian's farm protective herpes.
No, they very much were not.
Okay.
But,
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, either way,
He's going to marry a rooster.
Yeah, either way, you got a problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the entire group was laughing at me for a good 5 minutes after that. But I don't mind that, of course. It's all fun and games.
we have a bunch of Wowie-fied songs as well.
Yes.
If you guys look in the staff room, I popped a little thingy so you can find it easier.
You say that, but
couple.
yeah. There we go, found them.
Yeah, you found them? Yeah. Some of them were made by Victoria, which is the music bot from TK Studios, RP'd by Kari. And some of them were created by Pecunia and Oz in the Undermine. So let's read those out. Let's start with the Victoria ones. Who wants to start?
I'll do the first one. I just died in your arms tonight by Cutting Crew is now I just cried in your barn tonight by Coming Through. Wow.
Yes.
There's Bad Romance by Lady Gaga is now Broken Lance by Gaga Lady.
Sounds like a problem you see a doctor about.
Dangerous Woman by Ariana Grande is now Dangerous Bunyan by Mariana Grande.
Right. Disturbia by Roanna is now Refurbisher by Piranha.
I misspelled that, by the way. I think it was Rihanna.
Yeah, I know who you meant, don't I?
Yeah, Refurbisher by Piranha.
Afterglow by Smash Into Pieces is now After Mo by Crash Into Geeses.
Those damn geeses. Always getting in the way.
Now, those were Victoria's songs, and these were Pecunia and Oz came up with. Shallows by Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper became Swallows by Lady Gugu and Crad Booper.
Beautiful names.
Yes.
Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen becomes The Beatnik Ecstasy by King. that's a good one. I like that one.
Rolling in the Deep by Adele becomes Tumbling in the Shadows by Elda.
Tumbling in the Shallows.
Imagine
by John Lennon is now Envision by Johnny Lemon.
Johnny Lemon. Oh wow. Karma by Chameleon by
Karma Chameleon.
Sorry, Karma Chameleon.
Karma Chameleon.
That's the one. Karma Chameleon by the Culture Club is now Destiny Lizard by the Culture Cats. Oh wow.
Well, those were the ones that made me laugh the hardest.
Oh, I can see why.
They have them.
Oh, I like the what was it? The Disturbia by Rihanna. Sorry,
Rihanna. Do we have any Borg quotes this week? Maybe.
Actually, we do. If you bear with me just one moment, I will try and find it. Just a moment. I had it here a minute ago. I accidentally closed it. So bear with me a minute.
Well, you go and look that up, and I'll explain to the new people. Borg is a peon of the Iron Wolf clan who says the most legendary things, and we tend to capture them, record them, save them for posterity or prosperity. Yes, that. Thank you. I'm Dutch. And sometimes we pull them out for the podcast.
This one isn't particularly a quote. It's more something that Bark did. And I believe it was after he visited the Undermine. So, Bark has a box in his hand. He emotes that he peeks into the box and pulls out a live grenade.
Oh.
Barg goes, because Barg hasn't seen a grenade before. Barg, says Redcleaver, noticing it's a grenade. Barg, that's a grenade. Barg, bomber! Throw it! Oh. Barg throws the grenade, but he throws it in the wrong direction.
Oh no.
He throws it into the camp, and half the blockade has now gone missing.
Oh no!
Final answer was Bomber.
Bomber.
Oh dear. But Barg gets away with this kind of thing because it's Barg, the peon.
Hmm. You know, in 3 episodes from now,
Mhm.
which seems far away, and I guess it kind of is. It's like 6 weeks away. We have a live episode, and you listeners are, of course, welcome to join us when that happens. But I'll let you know when we get closer to the date. I really hope that Baurk will be there so that he can give us a live quote.
That would be great if he could. However, Barg unfortunately is a nurse in real life, so he
Yeah.
does work long shifts.
And
Yeah.
yeah, he's a few hours ahead as well.
Yeah, he's from Finland, so he's a Finnish peon.
Yeah.
Imagine
Well,
that. Like,
maybe by that time we have some new Baurk quotes to share with you.
let's hope so. But if not, I'm sure we have more funny stories. As always, of course, if you have a funny story, a shout out, a warified song, even, feel free to join us on Discord. Our Discord server link is in the description below.
Mm-hmm.
And unless there's anything else that needs to be said, or
Yes, one thing that I can think of.
Vivian can
next-
tease next episode.
Oh yes,
Yes. In 2 weeks, we were going to have Kesego 2 weeks ago, you guys. But unfortunately, we had to cancel the episode. So we're going to move that episode to 2 weeks from now. So, yes, Kesego from the Wandering Lamppost should be here in 2 weeks, if all goes well.
let's hope so. The
On the
Horde
14th, we're
Celebrity
going to
Chef.
record.
Yeah.
So.
The Horde Celebrity
yes.
Chef, as he's now known as.
Yeah. And a great cocktail shaker, too. He makes
Absolutely.
fantastic veal cocktails.
Mm-hmm.
He could almost be compared to, and I wonder if anyone will get this joke, Gul'dan Ramsay.
Oh, get out. That is terrible, Ella.
We are all gonna get out, actually, because this is the end of the episode.
Yes, anyway.
True.
And on that
thank you so much.
Yeah, and on that horrendous dad joke, it's time to end the episode. Thank you very much once again for listening, and apologies once again for cancelling the previous episode. Unfortunately, I was ill, and so we couldn't record that day.
Mm-hmm.
And
thank you too, Saelora. It was an honor to have you, and I really enjoyed all the things you told us.
Thank you for inviting me. I had a blast.
Very good. And be sure to check out TRP3 if you haven't already. You can get it on most add-on websites. I believe CurseForge is one of them. Right, Saelora?
That is correct. Yes. You can get it from CurseForge. I'm sure we've uploaded it to other places. You can get it from GitHub if you want the latest dev build, but I don't recommend it.
A bit unpredictable, is it?
Yeah, a little. That I may have to run 2 copies because sometimes I'm testing something and then I've broken TRP and I want to go and roleplay, so I have to go and get a clean version.
Oh, fair enough then. Right, so check out TRP3 and we will see you in 2 weeks with hopefully Kesego.
Or MRC, I guess that's okay too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, quite. Anyways, see you guys in 2 weeks, hopefully. Bye for now.
Yes, see you then.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Watching.